Alright, I'm gonna keep it completely real. This is one of the best chapters in Jujutsu Kaisen's history. Is it hype moments and aura? Yes, absolutely. Do I care? No, I do not. I will take the hype moments and aura, okay? That's why we like JJK at the end of the day. Now, the reason it's so good is because Yuka Akotsu was revealed to have the 10 Shadows technique. Yes, the Megami technique. I know, it's crazy, right? And she also summoned Divergent Sealer Divine General Mahoraga against Dabura. I mean, who could have possibly seen this coming? This was so unexpected. I'm sure everyone was completely surprised. There is no way anyone could have expected this to happen, alright? Like, there's no way at all. Because obviously, as we know, Yuka can't actually have the 10 Shadows, right? Because Megami should still be alive, and 2 users of the 10 Shadows can't exist at the same time, alright? We know this, right, guys? Right? Yep. Alright, just before I get on with the chapter, because I want to take my time with this one, let's settle some stuff. Okay, first of all, yes, I'm gonna brag about the fact that I called it. I put out a video a week ago that was titled Mahoraga is fucking back, and it was a theory about how Yuka Akotsu has the 10 Shadows. I showed the evidence. She used the Divine Dog hand seal. She manifested the Divine Dog's claws. She summoned a frog. You know, Gege's been very ambiguous about her technique. She talks about the Wheel of Destiny representing perfect cycles, which is also what Sukuna calls the wheel on Mahoraga's head. It was all right there for us. It's also the reason she was obviously chosen to fight Dabura, because she's dying anyway, so she might as well go out with a bang. And what a bang she went out with, by the way, but well, she's not out yet, but the entrance was, well, the entrance was the coolest in JJK, actually. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think anyone in JJK has ever pulled up to a fight with that much aura. Not Gojo, not Sukuna, not Yuta, not Yuji. I think it is the best, period. It's the best pull up to any fight. I'm getting way off topic here. I'm trying to address the misinformation issues, okay? There is nothing in the entirety of Jujutsu Kaisen that ever states, ever, that 2 people cannot have the same technique, or that 2 people cannot have the same 10 Shadows technique. Even in the Gojo clan, the Limitless technique, which is the technique, the curse technique, right? Look at what I'm saying, technique, right? The curse technique Limitless can be held by 2 individual people, okay, at the same time. Gege even says in a bonus page, or the data book, can't remember, that other members of the Gojo clan living at the same time of Gojo could very well have the Limitless technique. He confirms this. The trait that is passed on every 400 years that 2 people are never born with at the same time is the Six Eyes, which is not a curse technique. It is a physical trait, not a technique. So there is nothing suggesting that, you know, 2 people with a 10 Shadows curse technique cannot exist at the same time. I don't know why the internet has been spreading this bullshit, but it's not true. Okay, it's not true. Yes, Megami is probably dead, because if he wasn't, they likely would have sent him instead of Yuka. And yes, this Yuka pull-up is terrible for the Megami agenda, which just keeps getting worse and worse. Like, he's probably dead. He never used Mahoraga in such an inventive way. He never had so much aura doing it. Yuka is just the GOAT. You know, it's when you mix the Zenin and Okotsu genius genes together, you get Yuka Akotsu, who is now one of my favorite characters in JJK. Because genuinely, I hope Josh will show you the panel here, like show the whole page. It's just the best pull-up ever. She jumps out of a plane, like, and then apologizes to Dabura, going like, I'm sorry, bruv. I'm sorry you gotta deal with this, man, but here's what it is. Summons Mahoraga, all the Shikigami are spread around her. She falls straight through and hides in her own shadow as Mahoraga lands where she was going to land, meaning Mahoraga can't kill her yet. Yet is very important though. I will tell you about that in a second, which means that basically Mahoraga now just has to fight Dabura, who's been dragged into the ritual, which means Mahoraga is not going to despawn or go away until he either kills Dabura and Yuka, or Dabura kills Mahoraga. And I don't think any of these things are going to be happening. I think we're going to have an outside, you know, third party step in to take care of Mahoraga in a similar way to how Sukuna did in Shibuya, which would be a very nice parallel. And if anyone's going to fill that role right now, it's the one character we are anticipating more than any other in Jujutsu Kaisen, which is Yuji Itadori. And I realize this is low-key turned into just a yap theory video instead of an actual chapter review. I will go through it in a second. I just wanted to clear up all the misinformation about the 10 Shadows. Also, no, Yuka has not tamed the Mahoraga, alright? She ain't moving like that. I don't know why these people on TikTok and Twitter are just going, oh my god, she summoned Mahoraga, yeah, he must be tamed, duh. Or something dumb like, she has the copy technique, she ate Megami's hair and now she's got Mahoraga. Bruv, just relax, okay? You're jumping the gun here, chill. She's not tamed it, she's just summoned it. She might tame it moving forward, who knows? She might just die. It's Gege, it's unpredictable, who knows? Yeah, as of now, not been tamed, and she is a Zenin by blood, so she inherited the technique. It makes sense, I made the theory, it was predictable, you know, like, it makes sense, just the misinformation is getting too much, alright? Chill. We'll go through the chapter now. I'm done yapping. Sorry, Josh, this is going to be kind of a long one, I think, but I needed to get it off my chest. You know, the people need to know that they can't read. Shonen Jump weekly cover page, Maru Tsurugi, Yuka, awesome. Dope. Gege, Iwasaki, not Gege Iwasaki, Yuji Iwasaki, doing the art. You're the best. You're the GOAT. I was going to say something, but I don't want to say it anymore. We get a lovely color page for the first one, which is Japan versus Samuria, you know, and it's showing Mino. Mino, very important. It's Mino, not Tsurugi. It's Mino. Taking Yuka to the airport to get on the plane. He's got a wheelchair for her. He's asking, are you really sure you want to use it? It, as in Mahoraga. We then get this beautiful, beautiful double spread of Maru and Tsurugi and in full color facing off. Remember that fight's going on right now. And then, yes, we see airport. Airport and planes, you know, there is some symbolism here. Someone might end up in an airport in the afterlife by the end of Modulo. I'd put money on Yuji Itadori personally, but it could be Dabura, could be Yuka, could be someone completely unexpected. Please let it be Wee or Ui or Brian, whatever you want to call him. I'll get into that in a second as well. God, this one's a mess, bruv. This one's a hella mess. That's the point of this channel, just to ramble. So you should subscribe to listen to me ramble. But yeah, Yuka basically reflects on her life and she looks so like sick. Genuinely, she looks very ill and sad, but she looks like she's sort of made her peace with it. She's talking about how if she was to be reincarnated, she wants to actually be the older sibling this time because Tsurugi was a terrible older brother who didn't do older brother things. I don't think he actually was, but it's a nice little thought. But by the end of her kind of conversation on the plane here with Mino, but because she's so sick, she actually mistakes Mino for Tsurugi. She starts kind of having delusions and she believes she's talking to her brother and saying these things to her brother. But by the end, you know, it kind of does show that she would want to be reincarnated as his little sister again. And this obviously comes back to Gege's themes of siblings and brothers in Jujutsu Kaisen, which I really do like the way he's kind of recycling themes from old JJK and carrying them on, but giving them a sort of fresh interpretation. It's really nice. I like it a lot. We cut away from the plane and that very sad scene of Yuka to something that no one expected, I'm not gonna lie. It's Ui or Wee, however you want to pronounce it, who looks just like Mei, dressed up in this old, like, hag cloak with the same hair as Mei. We all thought it was Mei at first because there's bird feathers around, but it's not. He confirms he is Ui, head of the new shadow style. He is clearly siphoning life off people still. He's also taken up Mei's grooming habits because he has 3 very Mei, Wee, and Mei, Wee hybrid looking children with him. He was the GOAT of old JJK. He was objectively the GOAT and a victim. And as much as he is still a victim, he is now a professional groomer who steals people's lives from them. So there's only so much I can really do about that. It's kind of upset me a bit. He was the GOAT, kind of still is, but at the same time, bro, you're moving like Diddy, bro. I can't be, no, just no. But he looks scary. Not gonna lie, he looks hella scary. I'm guessing one of the kids has like a blackbird technique like Mei because there are just crows everywhere. I don't know, bro. It's just hella weird. Anyway, he's confronting Dabura, that's insane. Wee's confronting Dabura saying, look, bruv, the warrior we've chosen for you might kick your ass. So don't worry, your isolation, your strength, we will satisfy your desire for a good show. And Dabura's like, he doesn't look impressed. He's like, no, this is going to be over pretty quickly, bruv. I don't think you got it in you. But Wee's pretty certain that, you know, big divine general Mahoraga is going to show him a serious show. And what's very interesting about this is the fight is chosen to take place in demon-infested Tokyo, where 2 massive craters collide. And I believe these craters are the effects of Hollow Purple and the effects of Sukuna's Fuga, which is insanely cool. They are 2 pretty much equal-sized craters sat next to each other in the middle of the city, and one is probably caused by Gojo and the other caused by Sukuna. I don't know why I find that so cool that they just never clean that up. That is dope. That is so cool that this is where that's happening. Anyway, Dabura is there. He's looking hella bored. He's not too impressed. He's sort of just standing there, and then he sees the plane fly overhead. Alarms start ringing. Mino's crying. I don't blame him because honestly, looking at that panel of Yuka saying that if she were to be born again, she'd want to be Tsurugi's younger sister again, and then throws herself out the plane with just, it's just beautiful. I love it. And she's crying and it's great. Oh, and then she locks in by dropping as Mahoraga is being summoned. The wolves and the frogs are sat there howling at her. She drops straight down, arms crossed, Megami pose. I'm sorry about this, Dabura. With this treasure I fucking summon. Drops into her shadow. Mahoraga arrives. Dabura literally shits himself all over the floor. It's hype moments and aura. Prime JJK is back. 8-handled sword, divergent sealer, divine general, big smile on his face. This is the monster of Jujutsu Kaisen who hasn't uttered a single word. This character has no writing. He has no dialogue, nothing. He is still a fan favorite. He is still the GOAT, and he is a tool for helping the strongest satisfy their need for, you know, a good fight. I'm blabbing a bit now. The point is Mahoraga seems to be, you know, the one that can sort of stand with the strongest and give them a good fight, like with Sukuna and Shibuya and and Gojo versus Sukuna. Dabura, though, respect immediately on smoke with some crazy technique. Bro flies up into the sky and just shoots down a massive beam of laser rods. Like, and this thing is blowing buildings away. And he creates this massive sort of tower out of these physical rods of light that impale Mahoraga, and he's standing up above them, aura farming, looking a lot like Sukuna. I can't lie, bro. I'ma stand by what I said. I think Dabura's design is like up there with Mahoraga. I'm not gonna lie, Mahoraga and Dabura just have the top two designs in the series. I have Dabura's design over here on Sukuna. As much as I love Sukuna, I think they're so cold. And we get the final page. Oh, this is so cool. The final page says Dabura Kuraba's technique, and then we get the classic, you know, JJK style censored word of what the technique actually is called in just a black box. It says black box and light. Censored word black box is an ancient and vast slaughter instinct. It's a killing instinct that possesses actual mass, passed down through generations of Deskuntans, and its name is impossible for Earthlings to pronounce. It is so far beyond us, right? Which is when we end the chapter with Mahoraga biting through the rods and freeing himself as Dabura looks down on him. The wheel spins, and the narrator says, for the first time in history, Mahoraga's adaptation begins against an extraterrestrial technique. I'm sorry, when it comes to narration and giving those hype moments even more hype, Gege Akutami is uncontested, bruv. He has such a way with words. Just the way he uses phrases like, for the first time in history. It's a very sort of, I guess Togashi kind of does a lot of that in Hunter x Hunter as well. You know, for the first time, the king felt fear. That sort of thing. He did it a lot in Gojo vs. Sukuna. I really love the way he does it here. Because, okay, cool. Mahoraga's adapting to an alien technique. Not really something any of us would have thought of on our own being an interesting thing. I wouldn't have read this without that statement and being like, oh, Mahoraga's adapting to an alien technique for the first time. That's so cool. I'd just be like, oh, it's happening. But the fact the narrator said it like that makes me so hyped. I'm like, oh my god, for the first time in history, Mahoraga is adapting to an alien technique. And it just, I might have to just make a solely Mahoraga-based video because I didn't realize how much I actually fuck with his character. And he's not even a character, he's just a thing. He's always so cool. He always brings so many stakes to the table because the stakes are so high with Mahoraga. They are just so high. My prediction for what's going to happen here is I think they'll have a fight, and I don't think the fight will be resolved. I do see there being a good possibility that Mahoraga just adapts to Dabura's kit and Dabura can't do much. There is still the question if he has a domain expansion type thing, but even then, if it's the same technique, it won't matter. Which then means the only way we're going to actually solve this problem without Yuka or Dabura being killed by Mahoraga is for Yuji Itadori to intervene and nullify the ritual, which I feel like Yuji Itadori would want to save Yuka if he could. And obviously, if Mahoraga did kill Dabura, or even if he didn't, he'd still be in suspended animation until, you know, Yuka died as well. And obviously we have the whole plotline of Dabura's sister that needs resolving with the black rope and stuff like that. So I don't think either of them die to Mahoraga here. I think what happens is an outside force like Yuji Itadori intervenes, the same way Sukuna did in Shibuya, would very nicely parallel that. We will then get to see prime adult, like full 68 years of experience, Yuji Itadori, with cleave, dismantle, blood manipulation, shrine, strong punch, the whole shebang against Mahoraga, and I think he'll probably exercise him with a flame arrow the same way Sukuna did in Shibuya. And I think that's how we're going to see Yuji Itadori go like properly in on a fight for the first time, you know, being an adult, in the same way that I think 15 Finger Sukuna versus Mahoraga was the first time we really got a taste of what Sukuna is properly capable of. And it would just be such a beautiful parallel and such a great way of bringing Yuji back in and to solve this Mahoraga problem. So my prediction is that Yuji Itadori will be the one to end this fight and exercise Mahoraga, although I really do hope Dabura gives us a good showing because he is very cool, I'm not gonna lie. But at the same time, I don't think he's ever seen anything like Mahoraga before. So who knows, bruv? It's so cool. And yes, this was a bit of a lengthy video. But yeah, that was the chapter. I can't wait for more. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you in a bit, I guess. It's just as peak.